IPMNation.com.
Hi, I'm George.
I'm Dave.
Hey, and I'm John. And
we're a box of nails.
Come on, you guys.
And you're listening to Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet.
Oh my God.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation, and we are, as we are every week, at the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia. TheStudioNH.com is a website if you want to check it out online. Funky little gift shop and art gallery. Very cool place, and very grateful to Melissa for letting us do the show here every week. And like I always say, in addition to local music, also please support your local businesses. Very, very important. We're also sponsored by Central NH Events. If you need a DJ for your event, Tim Martin does a phenomenal job. CentralNHEvents.com is the website. If you want to find out how to get in touch with Tim, he'll DJ your shindig, your hootenanny, whatever it may be, and does a great job. Also, Tweak Sound and Mastering in Concord. Mr. Matt Marcil, also a sponsor of the show. If you need some recording done, some production, he can even play on your music if you need a musician. He's one of those guys who can play multiple instruments. Tweaksound.com is the website. And don't forget, too, Sonic Wallpaper, who are doing some very cool stuff in the local community in terms of helping people get music lessons. And it's a very, very cool project. We had Ryan LeMay from Sonic Wallpaper, along with a couple other people he's working with on the show a few weeks ago, so check that out. And we have with us tonight, our guest is Box of Nails, one of the gentlemen who's been here before. Well, not literally here at the studio before, but you've been on the show before, George.
Yes.
How do you say your last name?
Beer Bomb.
It is Beer Bomb, okay.
Yes.
Beer tree.
No jokes, please. I've heard all the jokes.
You probably have, yes. So you were here with Tripwire. That was a few years ago, actually.
Yeah, that was probably going back about 4 or 5 years ago at least.
Yeah. So we're here to talk about your original band, and you brought a couple of guys with you. I'm just meeting for the first time.
Yep.
One of them looking very rock star with the shades.
Yeah, Dave Parente.
Either that or you're blind. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just hiding behind my sunglasses, even though you can't see me.
Yeah, Dave Parente, and I'm John Lust. We were both playing guitars with the Box of Nails.
Okay. So how many guys are in the band total?
We've got totally of five people. 2 people aren't here right now. Our drummer, Dan Manchester, from Manchester, of all things.
Yeah.
And we also have Fast Freddy Lapatino on keyboard, harmonica, and actually electric fiddle, which kind of comes in handy on some different tunes. Yeah, it's kind of cool that we've got him in the band, where we're able to pull off a lot of unique sounds and really kind of play some songs that we're asked to play.
Yeah.
And really put our own spin and our own sound to that. It's not uncommon where, as a rock band, you're up on stage and people are screaming out, "Play Freebird" or "Play Mustang Sally," and these are songs that you really hate to really want to play.
Yeah.
But if it's relentless, we'll do it, and then we'll whip out like the electric keyboard, electric violin, or
type of
something totally
unique,
different.
cool sound
cool.
to it.
We need to be able to do that. Yeah.
Do you guys do like a dueling guitars thing? Like if you do play Freebird, do you do the whole?
We don't play Freebird.
Yeah.
First of all,
Yeah,
we did it
not so
once.
much.
That's why it's brand. It happened to us once, and we
Yeah.
try to avoid that. But Fred broke
Yeah.
out his electric fiddle, and
Nice.
Yeah,
we
if you
were
throw
shocked
tips at you,
along
you
with the
just do
audience.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
But we do accompany each other on guitar, and John plays pretty much
More rhythm. I'm more on the
rhythmatic,
rhythm side.
and
Dave's
I do more lead.
and rhythm.
But he
Yeah.
tries to do a jazz type chord
Progression
influence
or-
that I overlap with lead.
Yeah.
It's like a lot like Bob Weir and Jerry Garcia type of effect, where
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're both just as important to each other, and he sometimes accompanies me on leads, and I'm doing rhythm. So
Yeah.
it's a balance.
Yeah.
Cool. And George, you play bass, of course.
Yes.
Fellow bass player.
Yeah.
Is it with Tripwire? You was just one guitarist, right? From what I
Yeah.
recall. So
Yeah,
is it
one
weird
guitarist.
playing with 2 guitar players? Is it any different?
Yeah, I actually enjoy it better.
Do you?
Fills
Yeah.
up the sound and much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you throw in the multi-talented guy like Fred, we call him Fast Freddy because he he can rip a blues harp like Magic Dick from Jay Giles.
Yeah,
he's just as good.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, he's worth the price of admission alone once he starts playing that harp.
Yeah.
So it's a lot fuller of a sound.
Yeah.
It really is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to hearing some stuff. You guys brought. I don't have it in front of me. You got a CD, and I got to ask you about the cover. More Than a Cat's Paw.
Yeah.
It's more than a cat's paw. Well, a cat's paw is unique. It's not just the thing to pull nails out of for construction people, but a cat's paw refers to, if you Google it or Wikipedia it, to using somebody as a tool, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
So it has some hitting meanings. Everything we do seems to have, we don't go out of our way, but it's just the way we are. It has multi-level meaning, so various people can make their own meaning out of it. And
Yeah.
there really is no wrong meaning. It might have our own meaning to us, but
Sure.
it can evolve to what it wants to be for you.
Well, what do you guys want to play to open the show? You got looks like an EP.
Yeah, I
you got
think
6 tracks
start
on
with
here.
the top track.
Brown
on
paper
Brown
bag. is
Paper
the first
Bag.
one on the disc there, and that would be the best one to start out with.
Okay, and I think I saw there was a video for this too on your website, right? I think it was for Brown Paper Bag.
Probably. We've got a
Live.
bunch of stuff on the website and on Facebook.
And we'll
and
have more
Reverb
stuff
Nation.
coming.
Yeah.
So Facebook obviously is always a
Best way to
quick
reach us and
point
see
of
what we're
contact.
playing next and
Reverb
all.
Nation.
Yeah. All right.
Rex.
All right, cool. So we'll take a listen to this. This is Brown Paper Bag from Box of Nails.
Right on.
Here on Local Outbreak.
Wakes up in the morning and she wonders why her life hasn't turned out quite right. TV screaming, kids are noisy, and she walks right by. Well, her husband's off to work, and the kids, they're growing up too fast. Well, she rolls up all her dreams, then she stuffs them inside some brown paper bag. Well, all this running high, stuff those things deep inside. As we cover them up, crush them up, throw them all away. Have no choice to hear my voice just to make another day. 'Cause we piled up, lighted up, just to make us feel okay. Oh yeah, I'm feeling okay. Little boy is wondering what his dreams they all meant from late last night. Well, he's looking out the window, sees the wind in the trees, and it's alright. Well, the teacher stops to ask him questions just to bring him back inside. Well, he opens up his brown paper bag, find mommy put inside. Well, we all just running wild and stuff those things deep inside. As we cover them up, flush them up, throw them all away. We have no choice to hear my voice just to make another day. 'Cause we powered up, lighted jumping cars for a while. He's collecting all the loose change. He's holding up his homemade sign. On the way back to the bridge, he stops by the country store. Well, he opens up his brown paper bag, find his friends come alive. Well, we all just run and hide and stuff those things deep inside, 'cause we cover 'em up, crush 'em up, throw 'em all away. Have no choice to hear my voice just to make another day, 'cause we pile it up, light it up, just to make us real.
Hi, this is Ryan from the New Prophets, and I'd like to tell you about a program called Sonic Wallpaper at Toad Hall. It is a donation-based guitar lessons open to everyone and anyone that has a desire to learn guitar. The classes are from 6 to 8 every Tuesday at Toad Hall in Franklin, and Danielle is one of our students.
Being a part of Sonic Wallpaper has helped me find where I fit in and has opened my eyes to the endless possibilities that are out there.
I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Manchester Music Mill, German Motorsports, Bob Rice, Boscop Incorporated, and Abbott Business Networks. Email us for more information or to sign up at thenewprophets@gmail.com.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. We're here at the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia. We have three of the guys from Box of Nails here tonight. George, John, and Dave.
George, John, and Dave.
Yep.
I got it right. Okay.
Yes.
All right, cool.
We'll keep it at 3 now.
Yes, yes.
Ringo couldn't be here tonight.
So why, George, why did you decide you wanted to do an original project? Because how long was Tripwire going? It was around a long time, right?
Yeah, it was close to 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Of course, with Tripwire, you had some originals mixed in, right? But it was
but
essentially a cover band.
Yeah, essentially it was a cover band, and that just kind of ran its course.
Yeah.
You know, you just want to be able to create again.
Yeah.
You don't want to just you have to learn other people's parts and other people's vocals. You want to create your own parts,
Sure.
create your own vocals, write your own lyrics, all that. It's a lot more, you know. I mean,
It becomes authentic at some point.
And
You know,
creative,
Yeah.
much more creative too.
And I think
Yeah.
I think people get it too when they see it's your music and they know it's you and you're part of it instead of imitation of somebody else's music. It's a difference of
Right. Yeah, definitely much more satisfying
Yeah.
to be able to do that. Yeah.
No, that being said, you know, we would prefer to do all originals, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But you know, you go out and play in a club, people want to hear what they know,
Recognizable. It's like
recognizable. So if we
recognizable
can
stuff they
do a recognizable
get comfortable.
song, maybe not the most popular song by that artist, but a
Yeah.
recognizable song by Skinnerd or the
The
Beatles
Who,
or the
the
Who or
Doors,
whoever.
things.
You know,
Classic
not what
rockish
you normally
we
see.
stick to.
You know, something that you wouldn't normally see a band play.
Right.
And then we funnel in our original stuff, and if you keep people on the dance floor with your original stuff, you kind of think you have something.
Yeah.
So it's a balance. It's a balance of that.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of cool too if you do a cover of somebody, but it's not a cover that you would normally expect to hear. You
Right.
know.
Yeah, most covers we do are unique. We try to avoid any of the top pop covers for the most part. They're recognizable, but
Yeah.
it's we're doing like the Walrus by the Beatles
great
for the
job.
last
Yeah.
the last quarter.
Comes
We're
off
doing
great.
that, and
You don't
that's-
normally see that by a band in a
Yeah.
bar, you know. And when the results, we get a really good, you know, rise from the audience because everyone knows that song,
Right.
You
Right.
We
know.
wouldn't expect it from a band.
Yeah, and then you know you throw in some Who like Baba O'Reilly or you know something on that effect, and everybody loves that. And it gets the whole place up and jumping up and down and
Oh, yeah.
dancing.
Plus, Fred brings in the fiddle on that, and Dan with the drums. You know, Dan's
Yeah. Yeah.
Dan's been a big asset. We
question.
rejuvenated the band in the last few months, and
Yeah.
we brought George on board, and he's been a great asset. And he was, you know,
Yes.
he was really looking for something to do, something different. I mean, he was in a cover band for a while and did some originals, and he wanted to explore more. And we're really happy to have him on board. Dan Manchester, I used to play with in a band a long time ago, probably 15 years ago, in a band called Delicious. And our old bass player works down at 3 a.m. Productions in Manchester. He's part of all that.
Oh, okay.
Sean, I don't know if you know, that's Sean O'Brien or SOB down there. He does a lot of work down there. He used to be my old bass player. But we brought Dan on board. We brought Dan on board doing drums, and he's at the stage in life where he wanted to get back into it. He was sitting back, and he's been a great asset also. George and Dan
I've held
brought a
up the
whole
bottom
new
end.
bottom end to
Yeah.
this band.
They keep the band going, and we can almost stop playing and then rejoin again, and it's great to have that ability, Not
It
that
may
have to
actually
feel like,
sound better that way.
yeah, you wish.
Well, they bring the canvas to the painting,
Yeah, exactly. We don't have to keep all the filling with
just
guitars, but yeah.
Okay, you guys just keep going. I'm going to go grab a beer.
Or a sail in the wind while we can paint pictures on top of it. It's awesome.
we
Could have that option.
out of the 5 of us, 4 of us do vocals too, and Dave probably does the majority of them. But George has a heck of a voice. I have always typically sang backups and harmonies. I've got a little bit of a higher voice, but we kind of share the limelight. And the biggest thing with this band is we really throw all the egos aside.
Yeah.
If you want to try something, let's do it. Let's play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we record pretty much everything we do and go back and have the ability to listen to it, so it takes away a lot of your bias. It's when you play music and stuff, you're in the moment and you think something while the moment's going on, and it's always good to go back and regurgitate things and think, re-listen to it, and it gives you a different perspective. Sometimes it's better, sometimes you go, it wasn't as good as what we thought it was, and that's a scrap project, and let's move on. But
that's the beauty of digital age. Years ago it was the cassette recorder and play and record. Today it's a little Zoom handy recorder, and you got digital music. High-definition digital music right away. It's awesome.
And carried away in a chip from practice. It's fun.
Now, the stuff we're hearing tonight, where did you guys record that? Because this is essentially a demo, right?
Yeah. Actually, this was all recorded in a single take in our practice studio.
Wow.
Yeah, so we had everything mic'd up, and we sat down and went through it, and I think one tune only we did overdubs on vocals, but other than that, what you hear is raw box and nails. And
cool.
Some of the overdubs on vocals you'll hear bleeding through, which made it not quite total professional quality, but it's really good. It's really good quality.
I like listening to raw recordings, and
Don't give away the secrets.
Don't
point
You're
out
not under the influence of
mistakes.
various chemistries that you shouldn't be taking listening to music when you're listening to this. Just be warned.
Right.
Yeah.
You're okay. Everything's going to be fine.
Now, how long has the band been around? Because
you and I hooked up 4
2010,
years,
probably
4 or 5 years
now.
ago.
Going to be 5 years this fall.
And Dave and I have pretty much been the staple of Box and Nails, and we've added the keyboards with Fast Freddy a few years ago, and we've rotated in a bass player after one fellow moved on in life, and one of our drummers, unbelievable drummer, has gone off to do some stuff with his brother. So still, we can pull him in any time. He's able to sit right in. He knows all of our original tunes. I mean, we've got about 25 originals that we're doing now.
wow,
and,
that's a lot. That's great.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
for you.
And it's great to be able to select
All because of Craigslist. Thanks to the entity of Craigslist.
Yeah.
I did meet Dan, our drummer, originally from a handwritten posting that said, looking to join a band for a psychedelic acid grunge band back 15 years ago. And they brought that home, and that's how I met Dan 15 years ago.
Me too. You're letting
and
me
I
know.
met John. Well, I took that similar concept about 15 years later, the advent of electronic technology.
Yeah,
It went
and
on
the Craigslist.
Craigslist, and it was even cooler because I could attach videos from years ago and say, hey, this is what I want to do. So if this is cool, call me. And
I think the post said, let's start an acid rock psychedelic grunge band. I said, hey, I'll give that a try.
And John clicked on my video,
2
and I
miles
think it was
from my house, I could have a couple beers, don't have to worry about driving. It's close by, and one thing led to another. And
fire on a mountain on a basement.
Well, that's the thing. His background, Dave's background on lead guitar is more like Jeff Beck and Jimi Hendrix, and I'm more of an Allman Brothers-y, Grateful Dead rhythm guitar player, and you put those two things together, and that's kind of where we've come
where
to.
our rhythm
that's
section
where it all
and
came from, the Box and Nails
lead
sound.
guitar.
It's a unique sound.
So George, you coming into this, did you see these guys live with the previous bass player, or did how did you become a part of?
Totally cold.
No kidding.
I think we found you on Craigslist.
We found you
Oh,
on
really?
Craigslist.
Oh.
It was
yeah.
Craigslist.
Auditioned a bunch of
Craigslist.
people, and
Yeah.
he was the best by far of everybody we tried.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome by ear. He can play exactly note for note if you need to.
He's intuitive.
But better
he's
off.
structurally sound and
Yeah, I
it's
did a
awesome.
lot of hard rock, as you know, harder
Yeah.
rock, and after a while, it's like, I want to try something. The psychedelic grunge thing kind of turned me on as well.
Yeah,
because that's. I've done all that stuff before, but I haven't done it in a long time.
Sure.
So now it's kind of like, well, I like that, like hard rock as well, but I like the other stuff as well. So it's just
Yeah.
kind of going back, and I think it's been really, really good.
Yeah.
Nice change in direction.
Yeah.
It's definitely needed. in
And
my
then,
opinion.
and plus we also have it with Fred, our keyboard player, his background. He's a Berkeley musician.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah.
So he helps
He brings
with
the
a lot of the
structure to our
orchestration to us
unstructured
because
approach.
we're...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got to be careful that we don't fall too far into the structure. And I get
Yeah,
it,
we're
on
in
some
a-
of the
we're in a
covers when you're
balance of
playing
it all.
at the Chop Shop or Upper Deck or these kind of places around that really are there for, people are coming in to get hooked up and they want to dance and all that, and they want to
Yeah.
know what they know. You got to kind of be pretty close to the original, you know?
Yeah.
And that loses our ability to just go off on these really cool trippy jams, I guess is the best thing. We need to
Yeah, it's
not
a
lose that.
compromise of...
Yeah.
It's difficult because,
Yeah.
we could also go the other extreme and be playing an original for 20 minutes, which we try to avoid.
Yeah.
Right,
So it's a
right.
balancing act of, hey, the people are dancing, this is cool, let's keep it
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
But then again, you can't appeal to everyone. That's an
depends
issue
on
with a
where you're
band.
playing,
Yeah.
is what
We're
it
a
adds up
band,
to.
you have to accept that we're not going to appeal to every person in the audience.
Right.
And you need to have your audience eventually find you and become parts of you. I mean, it's like, even Fish or some of these bands
Oh, yeah.
have their own type of crowd. They're not,
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
somebody
true.
that wants to see AC/DC is not going to like their show. They're going to walk
Right.
away and go, this is horrible. What's going on? I don't understand it. And
Right. Right.
you
We have
can't
to
let them
play-
offend you.
We have to play places that are original friendly, so to
Yes.
speak.
Yeah.
So we can do about 50-50,
Yeah.
at least if we're going to be the only
50-50
ones on the bill.
originals
That's our
versus
gig.
over- yeah.
Sure.
The gig that we did down in Sadie's in Salem. What was that?
Few weeks
late
ago.
June. Yeah, a couple,
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that was all original, 17 bands.
It was
And
awesome.
worked out
Wow,
really,
it was
really
cool.
well.
Yeah.
And there were people there who were just playing a solo acoustic guitar to people that, played the kind of metal that could melt
metal guitar.
wallpaper
Yeah,
off the
yeah.
wall. We're somewhere in the middle.
And there's
so-
more people with Box and Nails bumper stickers after that set too. So
Oh, that's
pretty
cool.
good.
That's always good to see.
People actually put them on a car, so we love you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for the.
We need the
fans.
fans.
Well, let's play another track from the disc, and your EP is called "More Than a Cat's Paw."
Yep.
From Box of Nails. What do you guys want?
I think Alpha Stage will give you a good
talking
taste
about
for
the,
our more psychedelic.
Yeah, it's like
probably the closest we get to.
I was saying it. Fred
No,
won't let
you
me
won't
say
us
Pink
it.
Floyd.
You decide. We
I
won't
was
say
like-
Pink Floyd, but it's
It
probably
takes as
close
an
to that.
insult because
Yeah.
it's way better than Pink
It is,
Floyd.
It is.
But
So let's hear what
I'm
this
not
is.
going to say that.
Obviously.
There
All
it
right,
is.
well, let's take a listen, and,
Alpha
and
Stage.
we'll see. All right, Alpha Stage from Box of Nails here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet.
Thank
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. We're here at the studio in downtown Laconia, and we have three of the guys from the five-piece band Box of Nails. We have George and John and Dave with us tonight. And tell me a little bit about, because obviously, you mentioned, actually, I think it was George, you commented before the break about how, you have to find places that are original friendly to play. So is that a challenge? Because, there's a lot of places that want cover bands.
It can be.
Yeah.
It depends what you're into it for. If you're into making money, trying to do that, playing exclusive originals is a pretty tough thing to do.
Yeah.
So I think in my case, I'm not speaking for the other guys here. I'm not really into it, for how much money I can make or we can make.
None of us are in for it. This is an outlet for sure. So
I didn't want to speak for anybody.
We'd be a wedding band if we wanted to make money.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
And even then, I don't think weddings have bands anymore. They have DJs.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, so I mean,
but it is harder. I mean, we've got a host of local places that we play in the Manchester, Concord area that do, like Panucci's, for instance, in Manchester has become more of a staple. We play there quarterly.
One, yeah.
They pretty much let us do what we want to do there, and quite frankly, we've gotten huge respect and response from the crowd.
Yeah.
But when you get off to, we're talking with the Chop Shop now out in Seabrook. And that's going to be a little bit more. Is it more of a biker bar? I guess in a lot of ways. So they want to hear
pop rock,
Born to Be Wild stuff and that kind of thing, which we'll do. We'll do, but because you got to play to the audience.
Right.
But we can take some of the original stuff and put that in that is more on that vein. We do a tune called "What Goes Up Has Got to Come Down," which is kind of on that vein. There's a "Watch It Now," which is really heavy into an E jam,
like a Rage Against the Machine direction.
So
Hendrix
that stuff
jam
works in that crowd. So you just got to make sure you're playing the recognizable stuff as well.
Yeah.
So it is.
You want to keep your crowd. It's about keeping your audience, and it's tough because you get a lot of people. We're middle-aged people, and they show up, and you got the '80s spandex crowd, which we're tough to appeal with, and we know that. And they'll come to you going, "Can you play Buck Cherry?" And it's like, "Yeah, we're gonna play Buck Cherry, but we're not really that band." It's just the way it is right now. We can do it, and I'm not saying we wouldn't do it as pull it out and just do it.
We play covers, and we do them pretty good. But you know what? We're not the same guitars, the same vocal sounding as the original. So we play it more of our own way in our own style. And although we'll try to match it, as close as we can to the one of the original structure. But by far, the creativity and the best sound we have is in the original stuff that we do, because it's really truly us, and it's our own spin on our own stuff. And that's what really drives. That's really what juices us, I think, all as musicians. You want to do your own stuff.
Oh yeah.
So opportunities like this to showcase that is awesome.
How many originals do you guys have?
There's probably 25 that we have that we do.
Least,
We've probably got another 15 or 20 on top of that we have not mastered.
Yeah.
But the good 20, 25 that we can pretty much rotate in.
That's a lot of material.
We're also starting to write some more, too.
That's it.
We're into it now. New stuff. Yeah. We get bored. We got ADHD. A couple of us got ADHD.
So drummer Dan. No, we're all trying to write, some more stuff as well.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep going, not rest on your laurels, so to speak. And
the other thing is we're all, I think, we're musicians that are sort of aged musicians or whatever, and we're pretty good. A lot of us. I'm not being egotistical, but we can play a song a few times and it's tight and we're good, and we don't want to play it over and over and over and
mentally
play with it.
Yeah. We have another term for that. I don't know if we get beat down.
The M term on the radio station.
Mentally masturbating the song over and over just kills you, and it gets boring, and it actually sounds worse the third or fourth or fifth time you play it, because you lose the creativity in it.
We're going to boxing ourselves into our own stuff. We're a cover band of ourselves. Like, oh my God, we're playing us to ourselves to a team.
Oh my God, we're playing too much like
We're playing too much like ourselves.
Your own tribute band.
We lost the creativity.
Yeah, you get bored with it, I guess. You want to keep it exciting. If we're bored with it, what's your audience going to think? I mean,
do the songs change when you play them live? Like from one show to the next? Do they
could be? Sometimes you do. We've taken tunes. What's the tune we turned into a total reggae sound? The original we do. Dave throws on this hat that looks all dreadlocks and all, and it's totally redefined the song. We wrote it
what
one
goes
way.
up, right?
It is what goes up and what goes down. It is.
What goes up? We just joked about one day. Jug was a reggae, and I pulled a Bob Marley imitation hat, reggae hat with the dreads on, and threw it on and started playing it. And it was like, this is cool. We're gonna do it like this for a while because it just needed something. It got old. It was sort of a cool, boring tune. Everyone liked it. It was jammy and trippy, but.
And we're evolving.
As
we've evolved with the members of the band, we've taken one of the songs that's on the disc that we're not going to play tonight, More Than a Cat's Paw. By the way, you can see this all on Reverb Nation and all that stuff. It's for sale on iTunes, too. But the fact is Dan had this great idea of just changing the entire tempo of the song, which starts out as a sad song of this person trying to find a woman, and finally ends in an upbeat song in a much faster tempo because he found that person that he was looking for all of his life.
Exciting.
So that's a change to one of our originals.
Just monochromatic song through the whole song level, and he's like, it's cool, but you guys should have an upbeat tempo to make it more exciting towards the end when a guy's actually getting excited and everything works out. It's like, okay. And it works, and it's awesome. And it's
The Alleyway is another song that comes to mind where we've taken an original that we played for 2 or 3 years and totally added a bridge in the middle of the song as we've added some new people in the band. So they evolve, and we can make it sound even better and more creative than it was.
That must keep it interesting.
Fun. Much more fun.
Yeah. Very cool. Do you guys know, like, when you go to play a show somewhere, do you know what you're going to play before you go there, or do you kind of gauge?
We usually have a set
mostly
list.
Because it sounds like you have a lot of flexibility in what you do, depending on the crowd.
We usually put a set list together, which turns into a war between us all sometimes. But no, it's nice to have
agree, but
we do use technology, and I'm forgetful. I admit.
Sometimes we don't even get through the entire set list because we decide to take one song into a jam, kind of an extended jam, not maybe a 20-minute Allman Brothers completely, but next thing you know, it's like, wow, the set's up and it's time for breaks. So maybe 4 or 5 tunes at the end of the night that that we hadn't even done because we just ran out of time. So I mean, we can go in a lot of different directions when we're playing.
One of the hardest things is playing so many different songs, and we might pull something out that we didn't play for 6 or 8 months. We'll get requested for. What the beauty is of modern technology is each of us have tablets, and we can pull up. The hardest thing is to remember what all the lyrics are of all these songs. You know how to play it, but for the most part, you don't remember all the lyrics. So to be able to pull a tablet out and to hit a button and pull that song up instantaneously to get all the lyrics in front of you, and just even if you only look down at it to remember what the first word is of the second verse, it just triggers that off and you're on it. So that technology is really
John's
advanced.
Speaking for himself. I remember everything perfectly. Technology. Even the stuff I wrote, I remember perfectly. Sometimes I alter that.
That's the hardest part of it. When people, hey, play such and such, we do that, but oh man, am I going to remember the vocals for this thing? And to be able to switch over and just...
I just make them up as I go sometimes.
There you go.
There's probably two...
Well, if it's an original, who's going to know?
That's true. That's true.
Well, you get into vocals, and like I said, John mentioned, and George being, one of our newer additions of vocals, it really, the layers of vocals are getting a lot better. We're starting to come up with 3-4 layer, trying to get 3-part harmony at least out of all of us, which is it sounds simple when you have 4 people that can sing, but it's not. It's
never simple.
It's knowing
who goes up and who stays in the middle and who stays down.
We're working on that right now. I mean, instead of complaining about getting bored playing something, we're like, well, let's make it even better. Let's get the whole thing to an ambiance that's another level of excitement that,
Yeah, it's a good way to approach it. Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. Do you guys ever do shows where you play the whole night? Like you do like a 3-hour set at a bar?
We've done it.
Well, a lot of our nights when we play on our play 3. I mean, we play pretty much 3 hours. When we're doing shows. We go on at 8:30 and we'll play till 1 o'clock. We'll play till 1 o'clock and take a half-hour break or a 20-minute break in between.
That's awesome.
That's how we pretty much roll with 3 hours.
Probably be more toward a private party, I would think, for the most part.
It's happened that way, and then even after the 4 or 5 hours you played, there's around the campfire for another couple hours. So all of a sudden you're wiped out.
There's always the acoustic guitar that it doesn't matter what you're playing. You can just make it up as you go along, which is even better.
The first time I met Dave, and we both live in Bow, I went into his house and literally I had my list of songs. And he would put a song out, I'd throw a song out. He'd put a song out, and we just went back and forth for 6 hours. Wow. the first night we met each other, and had just a ball with it. And I remember getting home at like 2:30 in the morning, and I literally went and stuck my hand right into the automatic ice machine maker in my refrigerator and just said, my hand was on fire because I hadn't really played that significant amount of music all at one time. But
that's when I actually got to meet the Box of Nails, but we won't go there.
Where's the name come from?
The Box of Nails.
Box of Nails.
I think there were 12D nails or 16D.
You know what happened? We were that night. We were actually jamming in his garage. So if you want to call us that, we started as a garage band. We were, and on his workbench was a whole bunch of nails.
Sure, it was a box of nails, and we joked about it.
Is this the actual box of nails on the...
that's actually a real box of nails in my garage. Actually, I took a picture of the nails in the garage.
Excellent. Cool.
There's more to the story, but we'll
leave it at that.
All right. Well, what do you guys want to play next? We'll play another track from the disc.
I think today.
I guess today. Today's a cool tune, and it's about. I wrote that a long time ago. It seems like I'm living it again. It's like it's one of those songs that I wrote a long time ago, and actually, it's a phase of life I seem to be stuck in all the time. Or it's always a new phase of life, but it's today.
It's all about today, and that's what we're playing.
All right, let's take a listen. So this is today. This is Box of Nails from their disc More Than a Cat's Paw here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation.
Well, I don't know what it really means.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. We're here with three of the guys from Box of Nails. Before we begin to wrap up, by the way, I want to remind everybody, of course, that we are sponsored by Central NH Events. If you need a DJ, go to centralnhevents.com. You can hire Tim Martin. He does a great job. And also Tweak Sound and Mastering. Matt Marcil will help you out if you need some audio production done, engineering, producing, so forth. Tweaksound.com is the website. And don't forget, we do the show every week at the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia, New Hampshire. And thestudionh.com is a website if you want to check it out online. A lot of cool stuff happens here. In fact, there's a lot of art showings, or what's the term? Do you call it a showing?
Yeah, show.
Gallery
Yeah.
show
The
thing?
opening for this artist is Thursday night.
Yes. Oh, which will be, which will have already happened when this airs, but there's always good stuff going on here is the point. And so we have with us tonight, of course, the guys from Box of Nails. And so we have George, John, and Dave. And what do you guys have coming up that you want to mention? And where should people go online to
I guess the big thing to be focusing on for everyone, the summer's been tight for us. We got a few private shows we're working on the side. But the end of August, we're going to be on the Seacoast. And we have a place called the Yacht Club in Haverhill and then the Upper Deck. It's going to be a big beach weekend. So the best thing to do is get on our Facebook page. And we give, just say you like us, and we'll send you updates, and we're not overly spamming, so you don't have to worry about throwing us away every 10 minutes. Reverb Nation, we keep relatively updated with shows and events and music. A lot of people are familiar with that. We have a Wix site, which is just a regular website. Mm-hmm. If you Google us, you'll find probably that.
Oh, yeah,
some information.
Yeah, we just came off of five shows, and quite frankly, August is the time where we've got vacations and trade shows for regular work, and so we've held off now and getting ready for these next shows coming up at the end of August, beginning of September.
So I think the Beach Blast is going to be the weekend.
That's it. Back-to-back shows, Friday and Saturday night. So that's coming up. What are the dates of those, Dave? Do you remember what those are? It's the last weekend. It's the last full weekend in August, isn't that correct?
It's the 29th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that'll be the next actually live show that we play. Okay. And, we got the staples like we mentioned earlier, Panucci's in Manchester. Chen Yang Lee is a place that, because we're from the Concord Bow area, we get all of our local friends. The hard thing is, all of our local friends are old farts, and by about midnight, they're all ready to go to bed.
Right.
It's like 28th and 29th out by the Salisbury Beach, Haverhill, Mass area by the Merrimack. So get your boats tuned up and get them filled up with fuel and...
come on out and see the Box.
Or bring a beach umbrella and the kids even and get a place out there. Book a place. It's a weekend before,
Labor Day.
Yeah. Got a weekend before Labor Day, so, it's something to do. A lot of people like to spend time with their family on Labor Day. Well, come spend a weekend before with us, having a good time.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Sounds good.
Right on.
Well, guys, thank you so much. What do you want to play to wrap up the show?
Well, we Walk in the Park is a tune that we kind of brought on. I think that might be the best. It's in A. I used to think it was A Walk in the Park, but Dave corrected me to say, hey, look, this is Walk in the Park in A.
This walk around the park.
It's a walk around the park.
There you go. Well, okay, I'm wrong again. So, see, it evolves all the time. What can I say?
Potato.
It involved a nice, love story about walking around a park, holding hands.
This came out of your studio. This came out of your studio one day, one night. And,
this came out of me one night.
Yeah, this was pretty funny.
Like a lot of things come out of me, and I go, where did that come from? I don't know. It was just a couple of days ago. It just came out of me.
Yeah.
Just happened.
Yeah. Fast Freddy on harp, too.
I sort of lived it. And then, these guys all put their addition into it to make it a really... it's a really cool experience. I get to relive it. I don't know if I want to relive it all the time, but I thought I had a great time. So
a lot of fun.
Meant a lot to me.
Sentimental
song.
All right, so we'll leave with that. So Walk Around the Park from Box of Nails here on Local Outbreak. Guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, right. Thanks for having us here. Great opportunity.
We learned the hard way just to find would have got burned up by the sun.
IPMNation.com.